Hello and welcome into tonight's broadcast. We will be coming live to you from Bobby Hopkins Park in 3 minutes. Live from Bobby Hopkins Park in 3 Tonight, the road to Murfreesboro runs through the Secret City. Under the lights, with a trip to the state tournament hanging in the balance, two East Tennessee powers collide as the Oak Ridge Wildcats and the Dobyns Bennett Tribe square off in Game 1 of this best-of-3 series. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to playoff baseball here on Prep Radio. The stakes could not be any higher. Win 2 games, you're headed to the state tournament. Lose 2 games, and the season ends. Oak Ridge enters tonight's ball game with an outstanding 32-9-1 record, battle-tested and confident after a tremendous season under Coach Travis Free, a coach with plenty of familiarity with tonight's opponent after previously serving on staff at Dobyns Bennett. The Tribe comes in at 29-9 overall and already owns 1 victory over the Wildcats earlier this season, a narrow 3-2 win this year in Kingsport. But tonight, it's a brand new chapter. The atmosphere, there's an electricity in the air, the crowd is ready, and playoff baseball in East Tennessee, well, it doesn't get much better than this. So settle in, folks. Game 1 of this sectional series showdown is next as the Oak Ridge and Dobyns Bennett square off here at Bobby Hopkins Park. You're listening to Oak Ridge Baseball on Prep Radio. My name is Alex Myers. Ben George is joining me today. He'll be on the call tomorrow. Before I get his thoughts, we're going to turn it over to public address announcer James Branson as he has the starting lineups first off for Dobyns Bennett.
Indians. Batting first, the right fielder, number 3, Andrew Riley. Batting second, the shortstop, number 9, Maddox Martin. Batting third, the first baseman, number 21, Cam Hayward. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 6, Taylor Blankenship. Batting fifth, the third baseman, number 14, TJ Maxwell. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 1, Jalen Thomas. Batting 7th, the center fielder, number 2, Caden Cutlip. Batting 8th, the designated hitter, number 25, Cooper Gallion. He will be batting for the pitcher, number 23, Walker Bishop. And rounding out the lineup for Dobyns Bennett, the second baseman, number 4, Dalton Shelton. And now the starting lineup for your Oak Ridge Wildcats. Batting first, the center fielder, number 4, Warren East.
I would put the colors dark gray for them.
Batting second, the catcher, number 2, Parker Free. Batting third, the third baseman, number 3, Mikey Teasley. Batting fourth, the pitcher, number 4, Joe Webb. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 5, Carson Fagan. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 13, Jaden Sheverton. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 23, Camden Welch. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 1, Noah Wood. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 9, Brooks Poteet. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats. And our active duty and veteran members who have served and sacrificed for our country, while also welcoming Oak Ridge High School alumni Kira Ulrich to present our national anthem.
Twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's a beautiful voice, the tones of Kira Ulrich, an Oak Ridge graduate in 2022, all-state in chorus, and getting ready to go to France, I believe her dad told me, to sing. So clearly, John Ulrich, the talent in that family is not just you, buddy. We love you, John. Miss you. Wish you could be here. I know that I enjoyed having him on the broadcast a week or so ago, listening from wherever I was listening from. It was nice to have him on the broadcast. But Ben George, as I bring you in now, you're going to do stats for us. I appreciate you. Of course, you're subbing in place of the great Mike the Wild Man Sheehan, who usually is here at these games. Mike, I'm sure he's listening, though. We love you. We miss you as well. Hope to see you soon. Ben, hard to get bigger than this, buddy. It's sub-state, as I like to call it, sectionals. Win 2 of the next 3, you go to Murfreesboro. If not, your season's over.
Best opportunity here for the Wildcats in order to host these 2 games, and that's it. You said it exactly right, Alex. You just got to win these 2. Potentially, hopefully not even a third, but you got to win 2 games, then you're on to Murfreesboro for the 3rd straight year.
If you would have asked Coach Free, Mikey, any of these guys on this team 6 months ago, I'll guarantee you get to host
Once again,
with
taking the mound for
having to win
Oak
2
Ridge,
out of 3
number
games to go to state.
24,
Could you start the season
Joe
right there? They'd all taken it.
Webb.
Everything's in front of you. All your goals. You just came off a region championship. Joe Webb's got the bump tonight. He's on the mound. And before we send it off for a quick break prior to the first pitch, I want to remind folks of something that I was keyed to up in the press box prior to the game. Somebody up there said, you know, Coach Free, if you weren't here, or maybe not even in this part of Oak Ridge an hour ago, might not know this, there was a singular rain cloud hovering over Bobby Hopkins for about 10 minutes. It poured. It was sunny the whole time, but it poured enough to where we had to cover up our equipment, shelter everything. And one of the guys in the press box looks at me and goes, you know, Coach Free's never gone to a state championship without some weather delays. And I thought, you know, maybe that's a good sign for the Cats. Says, I was going to take a break, but as usual, Ben, I rambled. So it's time. Let's play ball. Joe Webb on the mound for the Wildcats. Of course, that means Mikey Teasley likely to go tomorrow. And if a third game would be necessary, hopefully it's not, but if it would be, it would likely be Cheeto coming off of his appearance in the region championship. Cheeto is over at first base tonight. Mikey, of course, at third as Joe Webb gets ready to get things underway. Here's the first pitch. It's going to miss for ball 1. And that's lined back to short. Come over to make the play, and that's the first out for Joe Webb and his Wildcats.
Wood.
Hit right back to Noah Wood, and he fielded it cleanly. Tossed it over to first to Cheeto for out number 1. Next up for Dobyns Bennett.
The shortstop, number 9, Maddox.
It's
Martin.
the shortstop, number 9, Maddox Martin, right-handed hitter. Dobyns Bennett will go lefty, righty, lefty are the top 3 men in this order. Strike 1 for Joe Webb. See what Joe's sitting at early on in this ball game. Got a little bit inside for him. It was at 82. Joe capable of touching 90. We've seen him do that throughout the year. As that one's going to get close. 89, and somehow just misses. 2-1 the count here with 1 out in the top of the first inning. Oak Ridge in their white uniforms, pinstriped and cardinal lettering. Dobyns Bennett in all gray with that similar cardinal color, as this one's going to be belted to center, but Warren East is there to make the play. That's out number 2. And listen to this crowd here at Bobby Hopkins.
Taken by Warren.
Ben, we've seen some really good crowds all year, particularly I think back to that Farragut game with a week or so left in the regular season. This may be a bigger crowd.
Oh, without a doubt. I got here maybe 45 minutes before first pitch, and the parking lot was completely full. So it's really a good crowd, good atmosphere here at Bobby Hopkins.
Oak Ridge trying to get a clean 1-2-3 inning, and that's a good start. We've got 2 outs so far for the Wildcats. And Joe starts the third batter of the game with the strike on pitch number 1. That one's just a little bit low. Familiar umpiring crew, as I'm not sure the guy behind the plate, but we've got a couple familiar faces down at third base and down on the first base line as well. That off-speed misses away, and again, Joe finds himself at 2-1. Right down the middle, it's swung on. It's hit deep to right center. A couple Wildcats trying to make a play. It's going to be off the wall. He's going to go into second standing as Warren East comes over and throws it to the cutoff man. And it is a 2-out double for the Tribe.
Hayward doubles.
Again, this is a team that beat Oak Ridge earlier in the season, just a few weeks back,
Batting now
in
for the
Kingsport.
Indians,
The score was
catcher,
3-2,
number 6.
and I know half the
Taylor
story. I don't
Blankenship.
know their roster very well, but I know that it wasn't Mikey or Joe pitching. So, kind of take that for what it is and how it could compare to this matchup. But Kingsport has had some success against Oak Ridge. It was a low-scoring game. Again, 3-2 is the final there. With a runner on second and 2 outs. Here's Joe Webb facing batter number 4. Just inside for ball 1. That one does not miss. It's 1-1. So far through 4 batters, Joe, when he's missed, seems like every next pitch off after a miss, he's come right back with a strike. That's strike 2. And Joe finds himself ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs, and a man on second. Oak Ridge trying to get out of this inning unscathed as the top of their order is obviously up. Mikey thought he saw something. He was going to call for a quick meeting and was waved off by the catcher, Parker Free. Joe peeks at the runner at second. Nobody holding him on. He'll go home. Here's the pitch. It's hit and over the shortstop. It's going to be fielded by the left fielder Ott cleanly, though, and the runner from second will come across the plate, and it's 1-0 Tribe just like that.
Blankenship singles, scoring Hayward.
So Blankenship gets the single, an RBI single, scores the runner from second. He'll get a courtesy
Batting
runner
now for Dobyns Bennett, the third baseman.
in on
number
first
14,
as the third baseman,
Maxwell.
TJ Maxwell, steps up to the plate. He's a left-handed hitter as Joe Webb will try to shake that one off. Nothing wrong with giving up an early run, but you can't let it snowball on you. Here's Webb. This one's hit cleanly to the second baseman, and he's under it. And it's Jaden Cheverton who makes the stop. So as we head to the bottom of the first, Oak Ridge will see the top of their lineup up. Warren East, Parker Free, and Mikey Teasley, the All-State candidate, as they trail, though, 1-0 early on. We'll be back to Bobby Hopkins Park in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Park. Want to remind you that tonight's game is brought to you and made possible solely by East Tennessee Spine and Sport. We appreciate East Tennessee Spine and Sport for sponsoring tonight's game. Without their contribution and generosity, we would not be with you live tonight. I would be here just having to watch the game, and those out of town or those who are working or unable to make it would not have a way to get the stream. So appreciate their generosity. And be sure and thank these sponsors, not just East Tennessee Spine and Sport, but those folks who have sponsored throughout the year. I'm only going to say this one time because it's not his night to sponsor, but the sponsor for tomorrow, I'm not even going to tell you who he's sponsoring, but I want to say he didn't want it in his name. But Mr. Ed Hudson, of course, Andy Hudson's grandfather, who's here basically every night at the ballpark and has been for years, tremendous supporter of so many good things and good deeds in our community. He sponsored tomorrow's game. It's not in his name, so you won't hear his name called probably tomorrow. But I wanted to give him a shout out for supporting David Clary, our gang here at Prep Radio, and everybody involved. But again, thanks to East Tennessee Spine and Sport for essentially paying for tonight's game for us to get on the air. So Warren East steps up to bat for Oak Ridge as they trail 1-0 early. The pitcher tonight for Warren to face, the starter for Dobyns Bennett, is Walker Bishop. He's a right-handed pitcher throwing to this right-handed batter. As Warren, of course, just a monster player at this level and had a monster game in that region championship, helped get Oak Ridge across the finish line as he takes strike one. Slight breeze tonight at Bobby Hopkins Park. No more than about 5 miles an hour. A little bit inconsistent, but enough to keep you comfortable, as after that rain, the humidity rose and it's got a little warm out here, but still just an incredible night for baseball, an incredible night to be out at the ballpark, as there's 2 balls now. It's 2-2 the count to Oak Ridge's first hitter of the night, Warren East. As good decision there by Warren. It wasn't a great ball to hit. It was a tremendous pitch with 2 strikes. It was probably a ball, but it was going to be too close for him to watch, and so instead of, he just kind of slapped at it, fought it off foul, and lives to see another pitch. So see the wily veteran, still just a junior, but one of the best hitters in all of Tennessee. That one's just missed. Ben, you made the noise. I thought that was one that was probably going to be called strike 3, but hey, we live on.
That really was a close one, but a good take there by Warren.
Full count here for Warren, as that one's going to be popped up in deep right field. The right fielder's underneath it. Can he track it? He does. And he sends that one for a pretty good ride, but it's going to fall as an out for Warren East. But he fought through 6 pitches to make that happen, so hopefully Parker in the on-deck circle was able to get a little bit of a read on the speed and the movement from this pitcher. Mikey steps into the on-deck circle now as Parker Free, leading this team in batting average, over 400 in the regular season did Mr. Free hit. Warren East actually forced that pitcher to throw 7 pitches, and there was his 8th. It's ball 1. Parker can be a really dangerous hitter, particularly if he's ahead in the account, can be choosy. So if you're this pitcher, you don't want to throw 2 balls. And guess what he does? He throws 2 in a row. Good take by Parker Free there, and he's ahead 2-0. Here's one Parker thought about going after, held up, and he probably should have. It's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here for the Wildcats in this bottom half of the first inning. There's a ball, hit well to left center, and it's down for a single for Parker Free.
Parker Free with a single.
So Joe Webb got through the first inning a little bit scrapped up. He got one earned run across the plate, but the Wildcats trying to respond here. He got through that inning with 15 pitches, though, and with only 1 out. Kingsport's starting pitcher already at 9 pitches. As, again, Mikey Teasley comes in to the batter's box. He'll step up to the plate, shake the hand of the umpire and the catcher, as he does pretty much every game, and he's in a good spot here. You don't want a hard grounder, but Andy Hudson is in as the courtesy runner, so got some extra speed on first base right now after that Parker Free 1-out single. Mikey liked that one, thought about it, and decided not to, and he's going to see that one go for strike 1.
Number 10, Andy Hudson.
Pitcher not really paying much attention to Hudson on first, and he fooled me, but he did not fool Andy as he was quick to slide back. Speaking of Andy, we talked about his family, his grandfather. Speaking of grandparents, we've got Carson and Kipton's Fagan's one set of his grandparents. They're all the way from Texas to see this game tonight. We've shouted them out. They've helped us get on the air. And there goes Andy, easily in for second base, and it goes over the second baseman's head. But wise play by the center fielder. He was charging up for the backup, and it pays off because it's Andy, even though the overthrow went into the outfield, he's going to be halted at second. But now you've got a runner in scoring position, down 1-0 here in the bottom of the first with 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out for Mikey Teasley. Now the double play is taken out, so Mikey can kind of open up and let her rip here. Teasley just gets a foul tip on that one. It's caught by the catcher, and it's strike 2. Just missed that one. Coach Free, followed by Coach McKeithen, giving some words of encouragement. As Andy Hudson will not be held on second. He's flirting with a big lead now. He's got one, and here's the pitch. It's going to be slapped up the middle. There's a base hit for Mikey. Here comes Andy, rounding third. There's going to be a throw. Andy slides safely. He's in there, and we've got a tie ball game as Mikey Teasley slides into second for a 1-out double. It's an RBI double, and we're back to a tie ball game. Mikey, that was like seeing a big piece of candy as that one crossed the plate.
Perfect hit ball there by Mikey, and just able to get it right down in the middle of the field and then be able to get in Andy Hudson for a run.
And you talked about it, the hit. It's not just that he got a hit, but it's how he got that hit. Not just the location going back up the middle so the shortstop couldn't get it, but the best part was it wasn't hit too hard. If that ball's hit harder and it can get to the center fielder first, that throw may get there in time and get Andy out. Instead, it kind of dribbled to him, and by the time that guy got ready to throw the ball, Andy was already rounding third and he had no shot. So great 1-out double for Mikey Teasley has us back to square one. It's a tie ball game now. As here comes the 15th pitch from this Dobyns Bennett pitcher. Big swing on strike number 1 for Joe Webb. A little bit of movement on that thing, didn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty nasty, but you can't really do much there if you're Joe Webb at the plate.
Joe with his unique approach, and the pitcher's going to step off for a moment. Worried about Mikey at second, and I get it. He's got some speed, but with Joe Webb as the pitcher, his strength at the plate, you do not want to face him distracted. Of course, that's Mikey's job at second right now, is to keep things interesting on the base path. Here's the pitch way outside, ball 1. The pitch, Teasley steals in there, easy at third.
Mikey Teasley to third.
Ben, it's one of the things Coach Free's teams do so well. They just put so much pressure on opposing pitchers, and even clear that pitcher's well aware Mikey's trying to steal, and there's still nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, they're very aggressive base running, and it usually works out for these Wildcats.
It's one of the things I've told my friends and people who maybe haven't been around Oak Ridge athletics in person in the last half decade or so. Try to tell people it's not just that the baseball team has really good athletes. It's that some of the best athletes in the entire school play baseball and nothing else. And so it's not just that you've got good baseball players, but they're true athletes on the diamond. And so many of them have such great speed, and it's just so hard for opposing pitchers. There's ball 4, and now you've got runners at the corners. Joe Webb at first, Mikey Teasley at third, still only 1 out. Carson Fagan up to bat now as a 5-spot hitter. As Dobyns Bennett's head coach comes out for a quick word. He doesn't really even come out on the field, but steps out of the dugout for a quick moment. If you're Dobyns Bennett, obviously you're hoping for a hard line drive in the infield. You could potentially get a double play, but it would be hard to do because Joe Webb is so speedy at first. He's a long strider, but that's your goal here to keep this thing at 1-1. Joe Webb's going to go take that out of consideration, and with Mikey at third, the catcher is not even going to throw down to second. Wise play by him to hold that, and now the double play is taken out. So tremendous base running there by Joe Webb. Coach McKeithen sending him. No hesitation as we've now seen 17 pitches. Here's the 18th, and it's a ball. Jaden Cheverton looking on in the on-deck circle. He's in the shadows here down the left field line, third base line here at Bobby Hopkins Park, where the sun is starting to fade just a little bit. Still plenty of daylight, though. Lights aren't even on here quite yet at Bobby Hopkins Park. Here's pitch number 20. Misses again. 3 balls, no strikes, and if you're Carson, I know you'd like to get a big hit right here, but to me, you've got to force this pitcher to throw a strike before you reward him with trying to swing at one. Applause coming from the Oak Ridge dugout. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And it misses high. It didn't miss by much. I'll give the pitcher that as Mark Case is in the building. But it did miss, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Dobyns Bennett. The bases are loaded. Still a tie game here. 1-1 in the bottom of the first, but boy, there's trouble on the diamond right now for Kingsport.
Yeah, and with bases loaded and just an out.
Fans, we would like to
With bases loaded and just an out, you got to think here with some runs in play for the Wildcats, you got to be able to execute. This pitching is not terrible. They've just put on a lot more, a couple more runs, and the Wildcats are here in a chance to fight back.
We're going to take a quick break as Mark and Shauna Haystep joining. This might be the first time, but we're not going to put them to work tonight unless we have any technical issues. So let's knock on wood and hope we don't here. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Jaden Cheverton up to bat now as he watches strike 1 go by. So they keep the same pitcher in, but he finally gets it the head cleared a little bit and throws a nice pitch for strike number 1. Here's the second pitch. Can he do it twice in a row? He will not this time, as that's low and away in the dirt for ball 1. Bases loaded for the Wildcats as the 6th-spot hitter, Jaden Cheverton, playing second base tonight for Coach Free and his Wildcats. Trying, you didn't even have to be a hero. Just get a single right here. You're going to score at least one. Even a pop fly to the right part of the field would likely at least score a run. But in his mind, a walk certainly would do the same, be just as good as a hit right here. 2-1 the count. Here's the third pitch, and it is the fourth pitch, excuse me. As we're up to now 24 pitches on the night for this pitcher through 1 inning. This is not what Kingsport needs. Your goal in this first game is to save pitching. And right now it's going to look like we may have to send someone out to the bullpen. No one yet, though. No action yet. 3-1 the count. There's ball 4, and there is run number 2 as Mikey Teasley will trot across home plate, and it's a 2-1 lead for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. And Ben, this is what I love. Mikey doesn't just celebrate and go to the dugout to high-five his teammates. He'll get there, but he stops and shows the next batter some love. Cheeto, as Camden Welch steps to the plate, and he's giving him some advice, telling him what he's seeing out there. Just an excellent model of leadership right there from the senior.
Yeah, leadership, teamwork, and then just on top of that, being able to tell the next hitter what's getting ready to happen, what he learned from the pitcher, his at-bat.
Well, if I was Mikey, I think what I would say was getting ready to happen was make him throw a strike. Right now, this talented young pitcher just off. Started off the first couple of batters pretty good, but it is not Then all downhill from there. And he gets a nice pitch to catch the corner on the outside there. And it counts even at 1-1. Bases loaded for the Wildcats, only one out. Score is 2-1 here in the bottom of the first inning. It's been a lengthy inning, but that's okay because Oak Ridge has made it lengthy with their lineup. And that one's pretty easily called strike there. I think if you're Cheeto, you're wanting to be patient, but that's one you probably got to swing at. But he shakes it off, acknowledges it, and he'll step back in there. He's got the sunglasses on as the sun is pretty bright at this angle right here as it's starting to set a little bit. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that hits Cheeto, and a tough play by Cheeto there. He's going to plate a runner after getting hit. He'll go to first. Cheverton goes to second. Carson Fagan to third, and Joe Webb will trot home. Boy, that's a lonely place to be out there on the bump with all the attention on you. When it's going well, I'm sure it's euphoric. But when it's not, it's a lonely feeling, Ben.
Yeah, and right now this pitcher with 4 straight walks, and just not a good look right here in first inning of play.
So here is Noah Wood, and the scariest part, with only one out and 2 batters, top of the lineup will be back up, Ben. This is not what you want if you're Kingsport, that you desperately need a double play here. Of course, Wildcat fans and myself, we're hoping that's not the case. We want to pile it on. If you're listening to us, we'd like to hear where you're listening from. If we very well may have some Kingsport listeners, and if so, we welcome you and thank you for listening to tonight's broadcast. Of course, we are an Oak Ridge-centered broadcast, as there's going to be one out at second. No, he dropped it. He dropped it at second. So Cheeto's safe at second. All runners are safe, including Noah Wood, who makes it to first. So the bases remain loaded as number 5, Carson Fagan, goes home. So a nightmare scenario here, and I was talking to folks from Kingsport, beautiful part of our state, lovely folks up there. If they're listening, we appreciate you listening, but of course we are centered in Oak Ridge, and we're going to be an Oak Ridge slanted broadcast, but we try to be respectful and fair as we can be with our cardinal and gray sunglasses. And right now, everything going right for the Wildcats. It's 4-1 here in the first inning, as Brooks Poteet steps up and takes strike 1. Still just 1 out, bases loaded for the 9-hole hitter for the Wildcats. Warren East. Antsy waiting on deck. Would love to get a shot right here with bases loaded. Encouragement from the fans and his coaches as Brooks Poteet, steps back in the box after momentarily taking a break outside. It's 0-2 the count, 1 out. And bases loaded. Infield scooting in here. If he could just pop one over their head, it would be a great thing. His teammates really encouraging here. He's going to swing on one. It's going to be thrown home, and they get him out. It's not a force out. If it was, he would have been safe, but his foot was on the base. Oak Ridge fans were hoping for a different call, but that's the right call.
Stepping in now for
and
Oak
that's
Ridge,
out number 2. Brooks Poteet goes to first.
4,
Noah Wood to second, and Camden Welch to third. But here's where this game could really be broken wide open. Bases loaded, 2 outs here, a pivotal moment in this ball game, as one of the best hitters in the entire state, Warren East, steps to the plate. As a sophomore just 1 year ago, is right at this time last year, he set the all-time program record for single-season hits. He was just a sophomore. Now in his junior campaign, he'd love to make a statement here. Swung on, hit well, but it's going to fall foul. And Ben, if he waited on that one just a little bit, might be a little more noise in this ballpark.
Yeah, would have been able to drive in a couple more runs if that hit would have just gotten a little bit more to the right.
He's got a lot of pop. 1-1 is the count, I believe. Scoreboard's a little bit behind. 1-0 or 1-1. Should be 1-1, and now it's 2-1 as he sees another ball. Again, a walk right here. Nobody's complaining about that. Parker Free, a capable hitter at number 2. He's on deck. He's got even more pop in his bat than Warren does from a power standpoint. Although they're both capable to launch one out of the yard. Here's one hit well into left field. It's not going to get over the wall, but it's going to bounce, and it's going to slowly roll and stop right at the bottom of the fence. It scores one. It's going to score another, and the Wildcats have busted this game wide open. It's 6-1 off the Warren East double that scores all 3 runs, It's 7-1 Wildcats in the bottom of the first inning. What a hit by Warren East.
We said it before on that foul ball that he hit. Just needed a little bit more time, and then he got it, and then he landed it in the right place for the bases clearing double.
And we talked about not just where you hit it, but how you hit it. And the beauty of that one was, no, it didn't make it to the fence, but it bounced at the fence. And because it didn't bounce really hard, it didn't have a chance to come back to the left fielder that was charging it. It's almost dead stop at the bottom, which allowed an extra run to score. What a timely hit that time by Oak Ridge's leadoff man, Warren East, who has now batted twice here in the first inning. And here is Parker Free with a runner on second in scoring position. His Wildcats leading 7-1. Joe Webb breathing very easy right now after giving up a run in the bottom or the top of the first. He'd love to have some more insurance. Here's Parker, swung on and missed. It was off speed, way slowed down at 67 miles per hour. 67, coincidentally enough, I believe the year that Mike Sheehan graduated high school. Long pause between pitches here. The count is 1-1 with 2 outs. Runner at second, it's Warren East. He doesn't have a really big lead, but now he's kind of playing mind games with the pitcher. He'll go home, way off the mark. Breaking ball that never broke down. It's 2-1. This is now a 39-pitch first inning, a nightmare first inning for Dobyns Bennett. There's a ball. It's lower, but it's a little bit outside, and it's 3-1. Of course, Mikey Teasley got things started this inning as far as the scoring is concerned. Warren East was on base, but after Parker Free flew out to deep right, Mikey had a double that scored Warren from second. Warren thought about stealing. He's going to hold, and that ball just misses, and this pitcher's not very happy. It's been consistent. The zone has been tight. I'll give him that, Ben. But it's been consistent, and now Mikey Teasley, already with the 7-1 lead, he's got a man on first and second with 2 outs.
Yeah, a lot of consistent calls there from the umpire behind the plate, but again, just not a lot of good pitches there by the pitcher today.
He gets the words of encouragement from his first baseman as Teasley steps up to the plate. Mr. Baseball finalist. Ben, do you know you're better at this sort of thing than I am? David Clary, executive producer for tonight's ball game. He's down in Atlanta. He would say, details, Alex. Do you know when that award is announced? I'm assuming it will be during the spring fling.
Yeah, it's going to be during the spring fling. I want to believe they're on the double steal for the Wildcats. But I want to believe that it is during the spring fling when all the teams arrive in Murfreesboro.
Of course, Mikey not only hoping that he's there, he's hoping his entire team's there, as if they get past this series, they will be. Andy Hudson, the courtesy runner, in at first. Before that's double steal for Parker Free, the catcher, so he can go ahead and be getting his gear on. Now runners at second and third as Mikey sees one go high. Coach Free acknowledging it's a good eye, but I think he wants Mikey to be aggressive right here if there's anything close to the zone. We'll see if he takes that aggressive approach or if he just continues to wait this one out. There's one down the middle. He was aggressive, but just barely missed that ball. And you can tell by his body language, Ben, he's disappointed. He knows that he had a shot right there.
Yeah, he knows that he didn't time that up right, but now he'll be able to get back on an opportunity here.
So this is probably the 7th or 8th pitch he's faced from this pitcher in this ball game. You have to remember this is the second time he's seen this guy, even though it's the first inning. 1-2 the count with 2 outs. This is pitch number 43 for their starter. White down the middle, and he gets it past Mikey. Mikey just didn't time that up, but what an inning it was for the Wildcats. 7-1, the lead for Oak Ridge, the Secret City here at Bobby Hopkins Park. as we head to the top of the second. Again, Wildcats lead it 7-1. Welcome back to Oak Ridge. Alex Myers, Ben George with you. Dylan Woody doing our camera and setting up our technical work tonight. And I do want to correct myself. Apologies to Mike Sheehan. I did not say it correctly. He did not graduate in 1967. Ben, he's a young man. It was 1968. As Mike, you knew we weren't going to be able to get through a broadcast without joshing you just a little bit. As here's Joe Webb back on the mound. A little bit shaky there for just a batter or two in that first inning after started out really well. But now, Ben, with this type of a lead, he would have been, I'm sure, happy to go out here with the tie ball game and hit reset. But now with the 6-run lead, he can really, truly pitch relaxed.
Yeah, here with this 7-1 game, you got to think that he's going to play way more loose, play free, and be able to get a lot more pitches in that he probably wouldn't have in the last inning.
But it's important to keep in mind there that this umpire, he's been fair, but he's at a pretty tight strike zone. So Joe can't get loose with it. I'm sure he's aware of that, though. Here's the 2-1 pitch, grounded right back to Joe. Great play, Mr. Webb, as he tosses DeCito at first, and there's out number one.
Tosses it to first. Batting now for Kingsport, center fielder, number 2.
So for Kingsport, it's number 2, the 7-spot hitter for them, Caden Cutlip. As this one's going to be popped, swung on, and it's going to be really, really shallow center field. Warren East charges up, calls for it, and gets it. And that's out number 2. So after a 15-pitch first inning, Joe Webb has thrown just 4 pitches here in the top of the second. And he's at 19 total.
Number 25, Cooper.
And he's already got 2 outs. Cooper Gallion steps up. And this is a guy, that I don't know much about. I don't know much about this Kingsport lineup. I haven't watched them a ton. But this is a guy in elementary school, Ben, who when he steps to the plate, we would have all yelled, "Back up." And he takes a hard swing at that one, but he gets on top of it. It bounces to Cheeto at first. He tags first with his foot, and that'll do it in the inning. It's 7-1 Wildcats as we head to the bottom of the second. We'll be back. You're listening to Prep Radio on YouTube.
And Jaden.
Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Park, and apologies in advance if you heard me cough a minute ago. I don't know if it's the wind, the dirt in the air, or something, but my throat has gotten incredibly dry all of a sudden, so hopefully I can keep my voice throughout this game. But if Oak Ridge can keep it up at this rate, I'm not going to say it, but could be an early exit. Of course, the mercy rule would come into effect, I believe, after the 5th inning. But we don't want to count our chickens too early. This is a talented and very capable Kingsport team. We've seen Oak Ridge as Joe Webb blast one all the way back to the flag. And God bless America, that ball is out of here. Ben George, I'm not sure if that ball has reached earth yet. That was a moonshot straight to deep center. The fence says 368. It was 30 feet past that at least.
Yeah, that ball is still in orbit, Alex. It's probably going back towards the newer old Oak Ridge City building out there.
Wow. That is the furthest hit ball I've seen in person this year, and we've had a bunch of those throughout this talented lineup. As I look down to my right, Joe's mom is smiling ear to ear. And why not? She is one proud mother right now. Joe Webb has been such a welcome addition. Of course, played his ball in Pigeon Forge last year, came to Oak Ridge, and boy, he has taken a lineup in a stable of arms in that bullpen bin that was already one of the richest and deepest in the state. And he has truly been nothing but an addition in that locker room and on the field. What an impact Joe has had in his one season as a Wildcat.
Yeah, already making an impact. Obviously, again, making this team region champions for a reason. And it's obviously paid off for him being a Vanderbilt commit to one of the premier programs, not only in the SEC, but in college baseball. And, you know, he's going to make them better eventually once he graduates here next year. But in his time here at Oak Ridge, he's done a great job.
James Branson always on it with the music. And the Beatles saying, please, please help me, as they're mercifully, that pitcher who I'm sure is a fantastic kid and certainly a talented arm. But sometimes his pitchers, we've seen it with Joe at times, we've seen it with other pitchers, even the best pitchers at every level. Sometimes, Ben, you just don't have it. And unfortunately for him, they knew it early. He walked 4 straight batters in that first inning, and they were hoping that he could recover, maybe get a double play and get back in a rhythm, but it just never happened for him.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for him, and I don't want to talk down on him, but it just has seemed in the time in the last inning that he pitched, he just kind of lost some confidence in his pitches. But I think now he'll be able to work on that for next game and be able to, now the pitching staff be able to pick him up here.
So who's the pitcher now for, we'll find out. I'm the one with the lineup, Ben. Why am I asking you? The new pitcher was not previously in the lineup. So this is Jackson Colobro, number 15. And he is a lefty, a strong-looking kid. And, Ben, I want you to look at Colobro's release. It's a little abnormal. So you wonder if you're a Wildcat hitter, it may be a little hard to pick up on. It's not quite sidearm, but it's almost 3/4. It's not really over the top like a traditional pitcher, so it's something to keep an eye on, see how Oak Ridge can pick this ball up as it comes out of his hand. Yeah,
it'll be very interesting to see how these first couple of hitters react, but yeah, it's a very interesting form that he's got.
Of course, hindsight is 20/20, but you think you would have loved to have, if you're Dobyns Bennett, loved to have seen Oak Ridge's, the top of their order, come up with a different look versus a guy that was struggling. Let them get one more opportunity at him, and it paid off for the Wildcats as they scored 7 in the top of that first, and Joe got things started in the bottom of the second inning with a solo shot to deep center field. And that's how we arrived at this score right now. It's 8-1 Wildcats. Dobyns Bennett has made the 100-minute or so trek from Upper East Tennessee down to the Secret City, and so far it's not been a warm welcome.
Yeah, not so far. These Wildcats have opened it up a little bit, but hoping that this Dobyns Bennett team, for them, that they're able to get back in it.
They've opened up a Ronnie and Becky Hayes can, if you will, and those who are longtime football fans, Dylan Woody, I see him shaking his head. He knows he gets that reference, as the T-shirts are something of fame for players who have been awarded them. It's kind of a trophy. The pitcher, again, is Jackson Colobro. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He's out at first. It's Colobro.
Batting now for Oak Ridge, the second baseman, number 13, Jaden.
So Jaden Cheverton will step into the box with one out. It will be his second at bat of the game, but his first time facing Colobro. Again, if you're listening to us tonight, we want to invite you to drop a comment down. We'd love to see where you're listening from. Again, this broadcast not possible without a $300 payment. And thank you to East Tennessee Spine and Sport for sponsoring tonight's game. Without them and their generosity, we would not be on the air tonight. Thank you also to David Clary getting us set up. He's out of town, but still always continuously working to make sure that even when he's not on the microphone, that those who are have what they need so we can sound intelligent, or at least try to. I don't know why that was funny, Ben. As here's a nice little pop into shallow right center. It's going to drop, and Jaden Cheverton drives it all the way down to first base.
Cheverton singles. Batting now for Oak Ridge, the first baseman,
Kathy
number 23,
Bellinger is watching in Oak Ridge. So excited to be here.
Welch.
Deanna Fagan, we mentioned them earlier in the broadcast. They are from Amarillo, but they are in the house tonight. Folks asking if they lose, if they're eliminated. No. Dobyns Bennett, this is a best-of-3 series, so regardless of what happens tonight, there will be one game tomorrow. If the winner of tonight's game wins the 4:30 ball game tomorrow, that'll be it. If they lose and the series goes to 1-1, there will be a rubber match game to decide it all. A winner go home and winner goes to the state. Third game that will start at 6:30 or so, maybe 7. Jackson Gary's grandparents are watching from Texas. They say thanks to the Fagans for representing the Texas fans out there. Throw to first to no avail. It's 1-0 the count with a runner on first and only one out as Jackson Colobro on in relief here in the bottom of the second. We do have a sponsor for tomorrow's game.
Nope.
Brian Malone says he's in a hotel in Knoxville from Kingsport. So wherever you're listening, as the great John Ward once said, wherever you're listening throughout the world,
It's baseball time.
tonight it's baseball time in Oak Ridge. It's 8-1 the score. Again, their starting pitcher, well over 40 pitches, and he was pulled earlier in this inning, just 2 batters ago. Joe Webb, just 21 pitches through 2 innings. We're in the bottom of the second now with a 7-run advantage as Colobro once again throws back to keep Cheverton on first base. Here's the southpaw with the delivery home. It's low, it's a ball, it's dropped, and Cheverton's going to stand up as he trots on down to second base for the steal.
To second.
Not often you see a man steal standing up, but that's exactly what happened. Catcher just did not quite field that one cleanly as he tried to pop up and throw down to second. So Cheeto now with 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out, and a runner on second. He's going to try to do what he can to knock this run in. Here's the pitch. Not a bad pitch, but it just missed outside and high. Again, this umpire's got a pretty tight strike zone, but he's been consistent. And so far for the Wildcats, it has worked out. Notice my volume got lower. as opposed to one of these umpires was behind the plate a couple weeks ago, and my volume was much louder. As there's the second time Cheeto has walked tonight. And now there's runners at first and second with one out. So if you're Noah Wood, you don't want to line out
now for Oak Ridge,
or
the
to
shortstop,
hit one hard
number 1, Noah
in the infield,
Wood.
because that could result in a double play and the inning could be ended. Brooks Poteet in the 9-hole on deck if Noah can continue to keep this inning going. Here's the pitch. Looked a little inside. Noah thought it was, but the umpire did not. It was a little bit inside, but I'll say this, Noah's standing, he's borderline crowding the plate here, so I don't think that that was a bad call, honestly. As there's one line right back at the pitcher. It's going to get to center field. Here comes Cheverton rounding third. Cheeto stops at second, but there's one more run to the total. It's 9-1 Wildcats as Noah Wood belts one right back about a foot past the pitcher's ear hole. And it's going to drive in a run from second.
The right fielder.
Brooks Poteet now coming to the plate with an opportunity to extend this inning. Just one out and runners on first and second. Ben, these are the games that I like, and of course there's a lot of baseball left. I'm not counting this game over, but certainly it's heading in the right direction for the Wildcats. I like these games a lot more than the really close games, at least for my heart. I like the like being able to relax, kind of lean back in the bleachers up here, not having to sweat every pitch.
Yeah, definitely a lot of offense here and a lot of scoring to put these Wildcats up big.
There's one ripped down the right field line, and it just curves foul. I think Coach McKeithen, if we wanted to see a little bit more effort from him, I think he could have caught that, Ben. I don't know, but I don't know why he didn't stick his paw up there. I think he could have grabbed that.
Yeah, it was a slow enough hit. I think he could have gotten it.
I'll have to go back on the film and maybe see what he thinks, see how he defends himself for that one. Of course, Coach McKeithen, friend of Pep Radio, has done so much for us and so much for the Oak Ridge High School programs, plural, throughout the years. So obviously he's one of the assistant coaches on this team and has been for years, but he's also, of course, been a years-long assistant for the Wildcat football team and Coach Derek Rang as well, and very valuable. He's also a former graduate assistant at the University of Tennessee when Coach Butch Jones was at the helm. So he knows ball, as the kids say, and he's gracious to give back. He's one of those guys that truly, he could go and coach at a lot of different places, and he has chosen to come back and help his alma mater, help his community, and we certainly appreciate him for that. We also appreciate Coach Free, obviously, and the total turnaround that this program has seen under his watch. Of course, Coach Garrison and Coach Tom Froning put in a lot of hard work for a lot of years and had some success, certainly, but there's really not been an era in the history of this program quite like this one. This one's blasted to right center. Poteet gets one to bounce off the wall. He rounds first. Runners rounding third right now. Cheeto will stand up home. Noah Wood will stand up going home. And Brooks Poteet slides headfirst into third. A two-run triple with one out for Brooks Poteet. That is one you put on the highlight reel. Brooks Poteet with a timely power hit.
Another great hit here by the Wildcats, and Brooks able to lift it out and then get all the way to third.
So the rain was coming down shortly before this game. Then it stopped, and the rain has come down from the Oak Ridge offense and from their bats, and by the looks of it, it's not slowing down. Warren East now at the top of the order, coming back up to plate. Now this is important to note, this is his first time facing this pitcher, Colobro. As I think he knows what Warren East is made of. He's looked a little shy on that pitch. He, I think, tried to miss low, but he missed a little too low. And here comes the coach for Dobyns Bennett. We're going to take a break. There is action in the bullpen. I'm not sure that they're ready yet, but we'll find out when we come back. You're listening to Prep Radio and Oak Ridge Baseball. Welcome back to Oak Ridge here at Bobby Hopkins Park, where this one is 11-1 in after Oak Ridge has busted this thing open. The applause from the Wildcat fans, hearing that Science Hill currently leads Farragut. So a region rival for Oak Ridge is trailing. Of course, that's a best of 3 series too. And we've got, let's look over to the YouTube. The YouTube. Gridiron
on the mound now for
32 on there says, talks
Jackson
about
Bradbury.
his Gibbs High boys, but he's glad that he's able to watch the Wildcats tonight. So he says thanks to the sponsors for making this happen. Yeah, we appreciate you for thanking the sponsors and everyone out there.
Fans, we would also like
Appreciate
to remind you that tomorrow's
and
Game
give a thanks
2
and a
will
shout
take
out
place
to
at
East Tennessee
4:30.
Spine and Sport. They
Games
are
will open at
just a
3:30
consistent
for
supporter
tomorrow's
of
Game
Prep Radio
2.
and what we do in all sports.
If there is a Game
But
3, that game
these
will take
in
place at
particular
7
are
o'clock.
really expensive games. It's $300 to do these sectional games each game. Again, Ed Hudson sponsoring tomorrow's game. He wouldn't like me saying his name, so I'll try not to say it anymore. He's a selfless human that just does so many good works for other people, and he doesn't want any credit, but I had to do it, Mr. Hudson. He's here in the
Stepping
night,
back in
so
for the Wildcats, Warren East.
as they did go ahead and pull the pitcher. So Warren East will not face that pitcher. He will face, he faced him for one pitch, I guess. And now he'll face the third pitcher, Jackson Bradbury. He did not start this game in the field. So this is his first action. Slow, a little bit moving pitch there at 79, just catches the inside corner, in the inside part of the zone. And it's 2-1 for Warren East now. One man at third and a 10-run lead here as Warren East is going to send the center fielder back deep. Will it go? It's just going to be held by this ballpark, but it's not bad at all as the tag was made on third as Brooks Poteet tags up and trots home, so it's an RBI. And with just one out, it's a successful at-bat, no question, for Warren East.
Number 2, Parker Free.
Ben, where did that one miss?
Just a bit outside.
As Ben, you called it. James Branson must have heard you. James Branson, people don't realize what all he does. They know he does the public address. He's the voice you hear in the background. But until you see him working up there, it's incredible. He's doing that while simultaneously keeping the scoreboard running, while simultaneously not just playing walk-up music, but choosing sound effects and things from his phone to play between pitches. It's an incredible circus-like act that he does, almost a juggling act. And somehow he makes it all work and helps make this environment what it is, which is one of the best in East Tennessee, and we appreciate everything he does. 3 balls, 1 strike now for Parker Free as the shadows, he's in the sun, but every other part of the infield pretty much is in the shade. And he's going to toss the bat back to his dugout. Why? Because that's ball number 4, and he'll walk down the line to first. He'll tag first and then immediately trot off as Andy Hudson, who's already got his jersey a little dirty from a couple of previous appearances in this ball game. He'll come in as a courtesy runner as Mikey Teasley steps to the plate with just 1 out here and a 12-1 lead for Teasley. Righty on righty matchup. Joe Webb in the on deck circle. Just 1 inning ago, he hit the furthest ball I've seen hit in person by a Wildcat this year. And that's saying something. A lot of this lineup has a lot of juice and a lot of pop in those bats. But Joe Webb sent that one to the woods.
I don't know who would end up pitching game 2 if we had to get there.
Teasley sees one head high, miss for a ball, and it's 3 balls, no strikes. It's contagious right now for this bullpen. It doesn't matter who they bring in, they're just not locating.
Not locating, and then the Wildcats are able to really just execute really well on those badly located balls.
So here's Teasley, and he's going to be patient and force him to throw one. It's not a bad take, though. It wasn't right down the middle, but it was a strike, and it's 3-1. Still, Teasley can be patient here. See if he can force this guy to throw 2 strikes in a row. He tries to, but he doesn't. So Teasley will walk down to first. Teasley's at first, and Andy Hudson slides on over to second as perhaps the most feared man in the building right now.
Stepping in now for Oak Ridge, the pitcher.
Number 24.
Number 24.
Joe Webb.
Joe Webb.
He would love to have a repeat of 1 inning ago. Here's the pitch. To Webb, it's a strike. He sees that. Turns around as if to say, okay, I wanted to see if you could throw me one, and he did. And the pitcher's ahead 0-1 here. Score is 12-1. The Wildcats lead this in the bottom of the second. As he just missed taking that one for a ride. And it's 0-2. Pitcher trying to get this inning over with. Curve ball swung on, hit to the second baseman. Nice play made by him. Joe's going to hustle to first, but not in time, and that's out number 3. And mercifully, we head to the top of the third. Wildcats lead it 12-1. So it's the second baseman, number 4, Dalton Shelton, stepping up to lead things off here in the top of the third for Kingsport Dobyns Bennett. We'll see if he can have a little more success than the rest of this lineup has. This is the 8-hole hitter facing Joe Webb for the first time tonight. Good pitch there, and it's one and two. There's strike number 3. Pick up the phone, ring him up, Ben.
Stepping in now for Kingsport, the right fielder, number 3, Andrew Riley.
Can't tell if anybody down there does. I think there are some scouts out here tonight.
That one's sounded like a loud hit, but it was just a little slow trickler to Jaden Cheverton at second. He flicks it over to his left to Cheeto on first, and that's the second out of the inning.
Batting now for Kingsport, the shortstop, number 9, Maddox Martin.
So Maddox Martin steps up to the plate for Kingsport. And if you're Dobyns Bennett, you know, this game's clearly gotten away from you, but you've got to just think just one batter at a time, just reach base. There's no such thing as an 11-run shot in baseball. So as much as you want to try to make an impact, your goal as a hitter, I think, just has to be just get on base and pass the baton to the next guy. But right now, it's just been so hard as Joe Webb is dealing. 2 balls, no strikes, though, to this hitter. It's the 9-hole hitter, and he's going to just watch strike number 1 go by. Here's Webb, the 3-1 pitch. Swung on hard. It's going to get between third and short, and it will roll into left field.
Martin singles.
Where Carson Fagan will field it cleanly and toss it back into second, holding the runner at first as Martin, the 9-hole hitter, number 9,
21,
gets a 2-out single. Just 30 pitches thrown for Joe here through 2 2/3 innings. Trying to make it through this third inning without too many more. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs for Webb. Only 1 run given up. There is a runner on first, though. That one's a little bit high. Parker has to stand up to get it. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Webb checks the runner over his left shoulder. Now he'll throw over there. Cheeto makes a nice play on it, but there is no tag to be made. Webb misses high and away again, and it's now 3 balls, 1 strike. Joe. Oh, did he get him? Mr. Hendricks down at first says no. That's the right call, but boy, it was close. The runner appeared to slip as he started to go back, and it almost cost him.
Yeah, he kind of hesitated there a little bit, and that timing just got him a little bit almost called out.
Those who know the umpire down the first base line, I had a conversation with him a week or so ago. Nice guy. Of course, we started talking a little baseball, but Here's Webb. Runner goes towards second. He'll be in there safely as the steal was on. The ball gets under Noah Wood's glove, and that runner's going to go to third while the batter goes to first. So now there's runners at the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the third.
Reaches first. Stepping in now for Kingsport, the catcher, number 6, Taylor Blankenship.
Here's Webb, low and away. So Joe starting to have some slight control issues here late in this inning. He's got to rein it back in, Ben.
Yeah, just got to rein it back in, get out of this jam here with potential run coming in for the Indians here. Oh, and that one just a little inside, almost hit the batter.
Joe signals, I don't know if it's to Parker or the umpire, but it looked like he kind of signaled. That thing slipped a little bit, and they're going to ask for a new ball. They'll get one. There's a heater. 87 on that one. Just missed. So the 3-1 pitch now with runners at the corners and 2 outs. No one has been plated since the first inning for Kingsport, but they're threatening here. Here's Webb, swung on and missed, and that's strike 2. It's now a full count for Joseph Webb. You hear the applause coming on. The Wildcat fans sensing an opportunity to get out of this inning unscathed. Here's the pitch from Webb. Runner at first goes. It's going to be swung on, hit to Noah Wood. He fields it cleanly, pats his glove, throws to first, and that's the third out. So Joe Webb gets out of a bit of a jam there, and no one's hurt. It's 12-1 as we head to the bottom of the third. The Wildcats up to bat. When we return, you're listening to Wildcat Baseball on Prep Radio. So Jackson Bradbury, the second Jackson of the ball game to pitch for Kingsport. Beautiful curveball there, just didn't come quite back in. It was a little bit too inside, but the count's 1-1 now. As the Wildcats will try to add to their lead here in the bottom of the third. Huge, huge swing by Mr. Carson Fagan, who I'm sure is trying to make a play. Both sets of grandparents in town tonight, so we're so happy to see them. Science Hill now on top of Farragut, 4-2. I think they said that was in the 4th inning. As that's strike 3 for Carson, and it will bring Jaden Cheverton in, the second baseman for the Wildcats. He's had a really nice game so far, both in the field and at the plate. Thought he might pull the trigger there on pitch number 1. It's a good looking pitch. It's a little inside, but we watch a strike 1 go by. As that ball sails past the catcher's glove, but there's nobody on base, so no one hurt for Dobyns Bennett. You just found an interesting stat. As good as Joe has pitched, he's pitched to contact tonight, and his defense has been there to back him up. That's one way to do it, but you found an interesting stat.
Yeah, just 1 strike to account for tonight for Joe Webb.
As most of his outs, again, they've been able to make some contact, but not solid contact, as Joe has just pitched a beautiful game tonight. As this one's going to be lined into center field. Chevy keeps the momentum going. 2 singles in a row for Jaden. And now Cheeto comes up to the plate.
Batting now for the Wildcats.
The lefty will step into the box with 1 out and a man on first. With Noah Wood now stepping into the on-deck circle. Brooks Poteet in the hole. First pitch is low and away for ball 1. Joe Webb threw 3 innings of work just at 38 pitches. This pitcher, which is the 3rd of the night for Kingsport, is now at the quarter-century mark after this next pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner on first. As Camden Welch, we call him Cheeto, he's at the plate. Swung on, gets to the gap, it'll roll into right field. Chevy rounds second, he'll be at third with ease. He does slide, but it really wasn't necessary. And a 1-out single moves Jaden Cheverton from first all the way to third. And again, Ben, the placement, that wasn't the hardest hit ball, but he just hit it where the defense wasn't. It's just been excellent. It's a clinic is what it's been for at the plate tonight for the Wildcats.
Hit it right there in the gap in between second base and the first baseman and just was able to get it down, and Chevy with his speed able to get to third quickly.
And again, another mound visit. So I think that will be all we see from that pitcher, as we will take a break. When we come back, Ben George will close out this inning, and we'll have more baseball here from Bobby Hopkins Park.
Back here from Bobby Hopkins Park,
Once
Oak
again,
Ridge
stepping in for Oak Ridge,
leading
the
Dobyns Bennett by a score of 12-1.
Noah
Noah Wood now up for the Wildcats, coming up to the plate. First and third occupied, Cheeto Welch at first and Jaden Sheberton over at third. Off a really well-hit ball by Cheeto earlier. Jaden Sheberton able to use his speed and get to third. This first pitch in strike one. Count now 0-1, one out here in the bottom of the third. Oak Ridge leading at 12-1. The throw to first, not in time.
Nope.
Keeps it 0-1. Wildcats playing a lot of really great offense here. The pitch. Gone away, and here comes Sheberton coming home, and he's going to get in. Stand-up score.
Sheberton score.
Stand-up score for the Wildcats, and a double steal brings Cheeto Welch to second. Wildcats now lead at 13-1. Pitch away, and count now 2-1. One out here, bottom of the third. Noah Wood, the 8-spot hitter for the Wildcats. Pitch in strike two. Count on the scoreboard reads 1-2 now. Noah Wood plays shortstop for the Wildcats, and Wildcats doing a lot of great defensive play from him tonight. This pitch called inside and evens the count up at 2. Count now 2-2 for Noah Wood. New pitcher, the center fielder, Caden Cutcliffe. Now the 2-2 pitch. This one hit out by Wood. This one going to be hit out into right field and caught. And Cam Welch not going to tag up. He'll stay right where he is at second base, and that brings up the second out of the inning. So we now go to the 9 spot. It's Brooks Poteet. Brooks Poteet playing right field for the Wildcats tonight. He got a single and scored a run, and then a 2 RBI triple his last plate appearance, and came to scoring himself again. First pitch to Poteet. Called ball 1. Cheeto Welch occupying second base. Here, bottom of the third, 2 outs. 1-0 pitch. Down and outside, ball 2. Ben George alongside Dylan Woody and Alex Myers for tonight's game. Here for game 1 of the Stubb State series. This hit and fouled off by Brooks Poteet. Two-1 scoreboard reads. Brooks Poteet, I want to believe he's a junior. Am I right in that, Dylan? Yeah. Brooks Poteet, a junior for the Wildcats, and that pitch to him called ball 3. Played really well this past couple weeks here in postseason play, enough to get him to start in right field for tonight's game, and has done well hitting-wise also. This 3-1 pitch to him, up and inside. That's going to be a walk. Brooks Poteet going to take his base. And now we're back to the top of the order. Warren East now up for the Wildcats. His 4th plate appearance now for the Wildcats. Warren hit a ball out into right field for his first plate appearance. Called out, fly out rather. His last 2 plate appearances, he's done really, really well. A 3 RBI double. This first pitch to him fouled off. 3 RBI double, his second plate appearance. And then an RBI sac fly out his last time. Count now 0-1, 2 outs here, bottom of the third. The pitch. This one hit out by Warren into center field. That one's going to go long, and that's going to be having to get retrieved by the center fielder. Here comes all 3 runners being able to score, and that's another bases clearing double for Warren East, and Warren East driving in 2 right there.
Batting now for the Wildcats, the catcher,
Brooks Poteet and Cheeto Welch able to score, and Wildcats now lead it 14-1. $15-1, excuse me. And so now, bottom of the third, 15-1. Oak Ridge leads. There's some dogs in the house. First pitch to Parker. This one fouled off behind us. Parker Free, the catcher, and the 2-spot hitter for the Wildcats. Pitched in Parker, and that's going to bounce before it even gets to the dirt. Count now even at 1. Warren East, the center fielder, out at second base right now. Here, Parker Free at the plate and looking to drive in another. Pitch to Parker is called inside, ball 2. A lot of scoring this time for the Wildcats today. Wildcats showing that they deserve to be hosting this sub-state, and that ball fouled off by Parker Free. Oak Ridge was able to defeat Farragut in the region championship on Saturday last weekend, and now the opportunity to host this region. Farragut on the road at Science Hill. We heard last that Science Hill was leading Farragut 4-2. Now the pitch to Parker. This one hit out into deep right, but that'll be caught out for out number 3, and that ends the third. A 3-spot here in the bottom of the third. Oak Ridge leads it over Dobyns Bennett as we end the third, headed to the top of the fourth. This is Oak Ridge Baseball on Prep Radio. Back here at Bobby Hopkins Park here in beautiful Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's a beautiful day here at Bobby Hopkins Park. The game started, or I guess the afternoon started, with a rain cloud that hovered directly over the ballpark, and from what I heard, it was pouring here at the stadium. I didn't notice it at all. I was at home in my house and didn't even know it rained until I got on the road and saw that the streets were wet. So good news to me, but either way, I get to experience the Beautiful scene here at Bobby Hopkins Park, and Oak Ridge has scored all 3 innings thus far. Dobyns Bennett struck first and struck early as they put up the first run of the night. But since then, it's been all Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge put up a 7 spot in the first inning, 5 runs in the second, and then 3 just now in the third. So now TJ Maxwell up for the Dobyns Bennett Indians. This is a best-of-3 series in the sub-state. I was getting ready to say sub-sectional, but I combined 2 words. Pitch from Webb. Ball 1. Joe Webb dealing for the Wildcats in this second pitch outside for ball 2. The stat I said earlier, Joe Webb just only has 1 strikeout to his name tonight. He's done really well. Just a lot more contact outs for the Kingsport Dobyns Bennett Indians. This one lifted up into deep left center, right center, and that's going to be caught out there by Brooks Poteet for outs number 1. Out number 1 here in the top of the 4th.
Stepping in now for Kingsport, the left fielder, number 1,
Jalen Thomas now up for the Indians. He's playing left field for the Indians. First pitch to him. Called strike 1. Thomas hit a ball straight to Joe Webb last time, and Joe Webb able to throw it over to first for a ground out. And now Thomas in just his second batting appearance tonight, looking to do more. This ball away, and ball 3, excuse me. Pitch from Webb. That one called strike 2. Evens the count up at 2 now. 1 out here, top of the 4th. This one inside. Very fast appearance here by Joe Webb. Goes this full count pitch, and that one's going to be down low for ball 4. That's a walk for Jalen Thomas.
Thomas takes his base.
And now getting ready to come up is Caden Cutlip. But a timeout called by Oak Ridge to Coach Jeremiah Ball talking to Joe Webb and the rest of the infield, some of the infielders out there and on the mound. We'll take a quick 30-second break here from Bobby Hopkins Park as it's a mound visit, and Oak Ridge leads it over Dobyns Bennett by a score of 15-1.
The pitcher, number
Back
2,
here
Caden.
for game 1 of the state sectional. Oak Ridge leading Dobyns Bennett by a score of 15-1. Pitch by Webb here in the top of the 4th. Called ball 1. 1 out here, top of the 4th, and first base occupied with a throw over to the left fielder Jalen Thomas of Dobyns Bennett. Joe Webb continuing to deal tonight. We're expecting Mikey Teasley to pitch game 2. Another throw over to first, not in time. Mikey Teasley, the Mr. Baseball finalist for the state of Tennessee for the 2nd year in a row. He's playing third base tonight. Pitch from Joe is called another ball, 2. 2-0 count now. Off the plate, ball 3. And Joe Webb himself is a great baseball player, and he's shown it tonight. A lot of great pitches and a lot of great hitting for him on the other side as well. 3-0 now. 3-0 count with 1 out. The pitch. That one in, called strike 1. Count now 3-1. Timeout called. Now Joe Webb comes back onto the mound, dealing to Caden Cutlip. Pitch to Cutlip. Thomas is running, and that's going to be called ball 4 either way. So Cutlip will take first base.
Cutlip takes his base.
Jalen Thomas takes second. And after a great performance tonight by Joe Webb, you hear the applause here at Bobby Hopkins Park, and his night will end with 1 earned run.
Leading the game for Oak Ridge, number 20.
And not a lot of hits to account for, and Joe Webb has done really well tonight. We'll take a break as we get this pitching change. It's 15-1, Oak Ridge leading over Dobyns Bennett. We'll be back here in just a moment. Back here at the Oak Ridge Baseball Complex.
Now for Dobyns Bennett.
It's game 1 here of the TSSAA sectional round. Oak Ridge here in game 1 taking on Dobyns Bennett in a best-of-3 series. Try Sharp now on the mound for the Wildcats. He's a senior member of the Wildcats baseball team, and this first pitch from him in strike 1. Cooper Gallion up for the Indians. Second and third occupied. This one fouled off by Gallion. Jalen Thomas at second. Caden Cutlip at first. And here with 1 out, Oak Ridge hoping to roll a double play. But we're at this point ahead in the count for Try Sharp, looking to strike him out. 0-2 count, 1 out here. This pitch outside, ball 1. Gallion, the 8-spot hitter for the Indians. One, 2 count, 1 out. The pitch, Oh, called a ball, and that evens the count up at 2. Evens the count at 2. Look close, but called low, it seemed. And this pitch hit on the ground. Throw to second, to first. In time for a 6-4-3 double play, and Oak Ridge gets out of that inning as we head to the bottom of the 4th. We're halfway through, and Oak Ridge leads it 15-1. It's Oak Ridge leading Dobyns Bennett at the end, as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
We're back to this prep radio broadcast of Oak Ridge Baseball. Appreciate Ben George giving me a little bit of a break there, as I now need to give him a break because he's got the potential to work 14 innings tomorrow in regulation. Of course, Oak Ridge well on their way to winning this ball game. It's not over yet, but looking that way. So if Oak Ridge does hold on to this lead, they'll play at 4:30 tomorrow. If they win that game, they go to state. What winning tonight does is if they lose that initial game, they still have a shot, and they'll play a doubleheader, and in that second game, it'll be a win-or-go-home game. So Oak Ridge putting themselves in a really good position right now. But, again, this one's not over yet, but it could be over soon, Ben, because we did get confirmation the 10-run rule after 5 innings is still in effect even in the playoffs. So with Oak Ridge up by 14 right now, as long as that lead holds, and Mikey Teasley is going to make sure that that does happen, or do his best to make sure, as I think he's now 3 for 3 today. They lollygag on the throw in, and Teasley steals second.
Teasley legs out a double.
He turns what should have easily just been a single into a double. It was a lackadaisical play by the center fielder, just kind of looping the ball in with no urgency, and that kind of tells you the mindset of these two teams right now. And heads-up play by Mikey. But if the lead holds, then this game could end after 5 innings. And, of course, Dobyns Bennett fans that have made the trek outside of coming back and winning, they wouldn't mind that because it's a little bit of a drive, obviously, back to Johnson City or Kingsport. And so, you know, if you're going to lose, you might as well do it quickly, I guess. Particularly, I'm assuming they're going back tonight. And, of course, they'll have to drive back down here tomorrow. So, and Oak Ridge with a 14-run lead. They scored, I think it was 11 of those in the first inning, Ben. Added a 12th in the second inning, and then throughout the next couple innings, they've added a few more. It's 15-1 as Mikey got a leadoff double here to start things in the bottom of the 4th. Joe takes a big hack at it and missed it there. He'd have sent that for a good ride if he'd have made contact, but it's 1 ball, 2 strikes for Oak Ridge's starting pitcher, who came out. And one of the good things about Joe's performance tonight, if he was able to go several innings, is you're able to save some arms. And especially if Oak Ridge can get out of here after 5, they can theoretically probably get out of here with just using Trice, meaning that you've only gone through 2 pitchers, whereas Kingsport has now gone through 3 or 4. So Joe going as long as he did is not just helpful for his terms, but for this entire Oak Ridge bullpen, which has some depth, obviously, but you can never be too careful in a 3-game series. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Webb, no outs, and Teasley with a sizable lead on second base. No one holding him on. The pitcher's not even looking at him. He finally takes a peek, and he'll go home with it. Ball in the dirt. Teasley stared at it, but decided not to run to third. No use with no outs on trying to risk getting an out right here. You might as well just be patient. Let a guy in Joe who's proven that he can do work with the bat. Just let him advance you. No pressure here. We do have a new pitcher this inning, as that's a walk. So through 2 batters, this pitcher this inning. And now we've got another mound visit coming. The pitcher currently on the mound for Dobyns Bennett is number 2, Caden Cutlip. But I'm not sure he'll be the pitcher much longer, as they're going to have a pitching change. It will be now number 10, Tate Wernke. As we're going to take a quick break. You know what, let's quickly hear from Dylan. Dylan, we haven't heard from you really all game. I apologize for that, but your thoughts on tonight's game. You watched a lot of this baseball season and kind of do it from the shadows, making things work like a magician behind that computer and behind the graphics and such. Your thoughts on tonight's ball game. I'm sure you thought Oak Ridge could come in here and get this done. I'm not sure you or anyone thought it would be like this.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe this morning, and he said he was gonna, throw some good pitches and put this game away, and he's really doing it. Now Trice is pitching, and he's doing a great job. But I think Oak Ridge has just done a really great job about hitting the ball, playing great defense, and really great base running too.
As I apologize, the pitcher that I said was coming in, he's coming in, but he's not pitching. So Dalton Shelton is coming in, or excuse me, Tate Wernke came in, but he'll head to second and replace number 4, Dalton Shelton, who was already in the lineup. He started this game and has played at second base, but now he is taking the bump. And if you're Kingsport here, there's no need in throwing, your number 2 or 3 pitcher with a game that's this out of hand. So we'll see what Wernke can do. Excuse me, not Wernke. I keep making that mistake. We'll see what Dalton Shelton can do on the mound. So as James Branson plays the tunes, and he's got a couple more pitches left to warm up with, it's Carson Fagan due up for the Wildcats. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Fagan will step into the batter's box, and we'll see if he can put on a performance in front of both sets of grandparents who have made the trip from Texas to be at this game. So here comes Carson Fagan.
For Oak Ridge, the left fielder, number 5, Carson.
This game brought to you and able to be on air because of the generosity and giving of East Tennessee Spine and Sport. We thank you to those fine folks for allowing us to be on the air tonight, paying that TSSAA fee that it takes to get on. It's $300 each game during the sectional round, as Carson Fagan with both sets of grandparents in attendance tonight. He is going to swing on the first pitch. It's going to pop up. It's going to be in foul territory, but it's catchable, and they do make the catch. The third baseman comes over to make the play, so the runners will hold, as that's the first out of the inning.
Stepping in now for
And
Oak Ridge, the second baseman.
second baseman
Number
Jaden
13,
Sheverton will step up to the plate
Jaden
with
Sheverton.
runners at first and second. It's Joe Webb at first and Mikey Teasley at second. He's been stranded there for a few minutes now. Trice Sharp came in relief earlier in the top half of this inning. He's thrown 6 pitches. We'll see if he can get through one more half inning. If so, he could close things out and seal the victory for the Wildcats. Joe Webb takes a good lead at first, but he can't go anywhere without Mikey advancing to third, and Mikey does not, so Joe will remain at first. Jaden with a big swing. Fouls that one back behind first base dugout. And the count is now 2 balls, 1 strike. Looping curveball hangs, and it's going to be caught by the shortstop. Teasley has to hustle back to second. The ball is thrown away into right field. Teasley hustles to third, and Coach Free will hold him there. Joe Webb advances to second, and a nice display of classy sportsmanship by Coach Free, not sending Mikey home. This is a closer ball game. I think he would have. He holds him, though.
Stepping in now for Oak Ridge,
And now there
the
are
first
runners
baseman,
at
number
second and
23,
third. Still,
Camden Welch.
there's now 2 outs, excuse me, as Cheeto comes up to the plate. Let's see if he can add to this total. It's 15-1 Wildcats here in the bottom of the 4th. Again, the run rule in effect next inning if Oak Ridge leads by 10 or more after the top of the 5th. So none of these runs may be necessary, but it'd be nice to ensure that we could implement the run rule. Cheeto watches a breaking ball that doesn't start high enough. It's going to be low for ball 1. The count now 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th with runners at second and third. It's Joe Webb at second, Mikey Teasley at first. Cheeto hits this one well, but he hits it right to the left fielder. And that'll do it for the 4th. We head to the top of the 5th. Wildcats leading 15-1. We're 3 outs away from this one being over. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Park. Wildcats all over Dobyns Bennett. It's 15-1. It was 1-0 after the top of the first, and then Oak Ridge, well, they went on a bit of a run there. It was 11-1 by the time we started the second inning, and it was Katie bar the door from then on. 15-1 your score. Wildcats. Joe Webb will be the winning pitcher if Trice can close this thing out. You say it's just the top of the fifth inning, Alex. How can we close it out? Well, the run war is in effect in the playoffs, and so if Oak Ridge can get 3 outs before Dobyns Bennett can get 4 runs, or I guess 5 to get it within 10, then this game will be over because of a run rule. There's out number 1. We're 2 outs away as Noah Wood fields it cleanly, throws it over to Camden Welch. Cheeto at first, and that's out number 1.
Stepping in now for Dobyns Bennett, the right fielder, number 3, Andrew Riley.
So Riley steps up to the plate for Dobyns Bennett. Oak Ridge with a bit of a shift now as Warren East and Carson Fagan in center field and left field respectively. Both take about 5 to 10 steps over as they shift to our right as we're seeing it from behind the plate. The sidearm throwing Trice sharp. Can't quite sneak that one in for a strike, and it's 1-1. That one misses outside. It's 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 out here. 2 outs away from this game being over and Oak Ridge being halfway to a trip to the state championship. Again, this is a 3-game series, best of 3, meaning the first one to win 2 games advances to state. Oak Ridge, as Noah Wood makes an over-the-shoulder, almost receiver-type catch, backing into shallow center field. Nice attaboy and tip of the cap to Noah Wood for that play. Now Oak Ridge is 1 out away from getting that first win. They'll play at 4:30 tomorrow. And if Oak Ridge wins that one along with this one, then they will be headed back to Murfreesboro once again for a trip to the state tournament. If they were to lose that game but win tonight, then they would play as soon as that game is finished. They'll both take a few minutes to warm up, and they'll play 2. Ben George will be on the call for that game. We'll have a different sponsor. But we appreciate East Tennessee Spine and Sport for making tonight's broadcast possible. Ground ball hit to Teasley. Teasley scoops it, flips it to first, and that's your 3rd out. That's your ball game. Oak Ridge in this sectional series has claimed game number 1. So Ben George, the Wildcats did what they needed to do tonight. You couldn't win the series tonight, but you could certainly help yourself and help your case. They did just that. Ben, your thoughts on tonight's game? It's a blowout win, but a win is beautiful any way you make it happen.
Yeah, a great win here for these Wildcats, able to do it in quick fashion. These Wildcats able to get it done, and offense showed today. I'm not a skeptical person, but I almost think that Coach Travis Spree is going to be a little bit pessimistic about tonight's win still, that just knowing Coach Spree. But I think either way, this team is very proud of themselves for the offensive performance tonight. Joe Webb ought to be proud of himself for the pitching performance he had tonight, and all around just a really great game.
2, 3.
Bless you.
25, 38, 46, 1.
Ben, did you make a donation, and was that your raffle ticket that you won?
Unfortunately not. I wish it was. You get a Yeti cooler and some tumblers included. I mean, you can't meet it.
You have won the Yeti cooler and 2 tumblers by donating to Oak Ridge Baseball.
Thank you to those folks who donated. Oak Ridge, of course, all these all these baseball and football and track and cheer and all these programs, it takes money to run them, and especially to run them well. And Coach Free certainly running these well. Coach Gaddis, as the athletic director, making sure not just the big sports, but every sport is running well and trying to make sure they all get funded. So anytime people can donate, it's certainly appreciated. And anytime folks can donate to our cause, that being Prep Radio, it's appreciated not just by us, but by those who listen to us in order to keep up with the Wildcats, because there are so many folks in different states, in different countries, parts of the world even, and even people locally who are in town, but they've got to work, they've got prior obligations. See you, Mark and Shauna. And without us updating and us being on the air, they would not be able to keep up with the games. And certainly David Clary, this has been his work for years and years. And although he's with the Braves in Atlanta right now, he still did everything we needed to be able to get on the air, including securing a sponsorship. And that was none other than East Tennessee Spine and Sport. We appreciate them for making this broadcast possible. As the team's huddling up there, Ben, Coach Free likes us to use the wireless so that we can go to them, and I understand that. But tonight, with the rain and everything happening, the wireless didn't get set up. And you know what? That's all right. But we can see if maybe Joe would be able to come up. That'd be awesome. To avoid any copyright issues, we're going to mute the mic for just a minute or two, and when we come back, we'll try to get a quick player interview, maybe hear from Dylan and Ben one more time before we close it out. Ben's got a long day. It's finals week, I think, at UT for him, and he's got a game tonight he did with us, and he'll be in a game tomorrow and then potentially doing two, so we won't want to keep him or anybody else on his school night. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Oak Ridge Baseball on Prep Radio. Thank you very much to Ben George, who helped us with statistics, color commentary, and some play-by-play as well tonight. We are getting set to talk to starting pitcher, winning pitcher, Joe Webb, as we're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, stay with us. We will be back and talking with Joe. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Park, where Deborah, Robert, and Jacob Stewart were sitting in front of us, and wanted to give them a shout out because they're loyal supporters of Oak Ridge baseball, as Warren East is stepping up, and we're going to talk to Warren real quick. Warren, thank you so much for giving us a couple minutes of time. Appreciate you. Great performance tonight. When you had a performance like you did, when you kind of got things rolling there at Farragut, does that carry over, even though there's a little bit of a delay, does that carry over as a hitter, or is it just kind of starting from scratch?
Yeah, 100% that carries over. Feeling good at the plate, and I was feeling good at Farragut and brought that into today's game, and it showed.
You guys as a lineup, it seemed like everybody was hitting it. I mean, you had the top of the order, middle of the order, the bottom of the order. Brooks Poteet had one of the more impressive hits of the night as your 9-hole hitter. What was going on? Was that contagious? Was there something before the game that you, when you going into this game, you thought, hey, we got a good shot, or was it once the game started, it just kind of got contagious and built confidence?
I feel like it's more contagious. Like, when one does good, the whole lineup's going to do good, especially when we got the top of our order rolling, then the rest of the lineup's going to follow. So if we can just stay like that all year, then things are going to go our way.
One thing I've seen from the top of that order, you talked about it, when you guys get on base, or even just like today I saw it with Mikey, even when you guys were getting on base, not because of hits, but through walks, even when you guys were crossing the plate, the next batter that would come up, you guys were talking to them. What are those conversations like? What are you telling those next batters?
You're just giving them the scouting report, where the arm slot is and the movement, if it runs at all. So you're just telling them any key details that they need to know going into that bat.
You're still relatively a youngster. You're a veteran on this team, a junior though, but you were a big part of last year's team, obviously. With that experience, with so many returning players, how do you think that helps you in this exact spot you're in, where you're hosting, you got all the momentum, all the fans here are feeling good, but you know that there's more work to be done. How do you guys enjoy tonight, but yet not get too out in front of yourselves? Because this is a really talented team you're playing, and you still got to beat them one more time.
Yeah, we've been in this position before. Even at Farragut, when we had whooped them and then going into the district championship, we ended up losing because we lost our way. So I think we all know as a whole that we have to keep our way so we can, punch our ticket to the state tournament. And it just comes down to like a team and doing it for the team and not yourself. Like, you're up there and you're going to put a ball and play for the team, not for yourself or your batting average or your whatever. It's for the team now. So I think we've all understood that.
Last thing, and then I'll let you go. I appreciate you giving us some time, and great game as always, Warren. You guys play at 4:30 tomorrow. Gates open at 3:30. It'll be an early start. A lot of people may not be able to get off work, but if they can, and I'm going to let you talk to them and the students as well. The students will be off tomorrow, especially the seniors. What's your plea to get them out here? Because I know you'd love to play one last home game in front of a packed stands here at Bobby Hopkins.
When we win, everybody dogpiling. Students, everybody coming on the field and dogpiling on each other. So we're planning on punching our ticket to go back to the state tournament, so everybody pull up.
right, thanks so much, Warren. Congratulations on a big win tonight and a great performance both in the field and at the plate. So we are hoping to get Joe Webb. We were told by Ben George that we were able to, but it looks like Dylan has located and said he's talking to somebody, maybe a scout or something, who knows. But he is on his way up here, so you're totally fine. Joe, if you'll stand right there, you're quite a bit taller, so I will. No, you can come up one more. More. Right there. So just lock you into place there. Joe, great performance tonight. First off, before we talk about individual stuff, this team tonight, the hitting, the fielding, everything seemed, the word I used to when I'm talking to Warren was contagious. It just seemed like once you guys got going, everybody got going and everybody's confidence built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. We're a team big on chemistry. When one's doing good, we're normally all doing good, and we always got each other's back. We know that the guy behind us has our back, and as a pitcher on the mound, we know the defense has our back, so that just helps just tremendously.
You gave up one run in the first. You looked good at the start, but then it looked like you got a little shaky there. But then when you go, after giving up just one run, I made a comment, that's not a huge deal. You got plenty of game left. To then go back out probably 20 or 30 minutes later after having gone through the lineup twice, and now all of a sudden you got a 10-run lead. What does that feel like as a pitcher? Because I can't imagine how loose you can be knowing that you've got that big of a lead.
Yeah, no, for sure. You can definitely, of course, you have some leeway, but to us, we think of it as a 0-0 ball game as pitchers, and we just, get back in there and compete. It doesn't matter how many runs we're up. We want to get up more, and we want to stop them.
That home run that you hit, I don't know, maybe it was the second, third inning. I comment, I think it was the longest hit ball I've seen by a Wildcat player this year. The fence is 368 out there. It wasn't close. It was a lot further than that. Walk me through that at bat, what you saw, how you knew that you were ready to sit on one, and then as you made contact, just walk me through that whole play.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell my approach because some teams might jump on it, but actually I'll tell it. I'm just looking to hammer the first pitch. He threw the second pitch. First pitch was a ball, I believe, but I saw him hang that slider, and I just, I saw it real good, and I just do like we do in practice kind of. It's kind of just like a BP swing, and just got the barrel out there, and, yeah, I knew it was gone off the bat.
Oftentimes I see hitters kind of check swing, or they'll kind of swing but kind of half-heartedly. Typically when you swing and miss, it looks like you're swinging for the fences, and I can see why, because if you're able to make contact, a lot of times it's out of there. You came from Pigeon Forge. This is your first year in the program. What's different about, and nothing against where you came from, but just being in a different program, coming to this program, I never asked you this, what is so different and what makes this program click and what makes it unique under Coach Free?
Yeah, I mean, just Coach Free, he lets us play. That's his thing. He lets us play. He tells us, he gives us like a guideline highway, but he'll let you drive, and you're really in the driver's seat. Of course, here, we're all just like a brotherhood here. That's why I love it so much. The chemistry is just out of the roof. We all love each other. We love being around each other, and we just love playing baseball. All of us, every one of us want to win. And, when everyone on one team wants to win, you're going to win. But, yeah, it's been a huge change, to be honest. I love it here.
And I'll ask you a question like I asked Warren. Obviously, this is a veteran roster, a bunch of guys who have been here before in this very same situation. Last year, Oak Ridge was able to punch their ticket to the state championship, or to state at home after winning region. This year, you're up one game. Obviously, that's a talented team. The scoreboard doesn't reflect that, but that's a team capable of winning and beating you guys. They beat you earlier in the year. How do you guys take the momentum, feel good as you're going into that 4:30 game 2 tomorrow, but how do you also remain humble and ready to go and not get out ahead of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same mindset as on the mound. It's 0-0 in our head. We want to get that win, and we're going to try our hardest to get that win. We're going to fight. They're going to fight. It's going to be a good game tomorrow. But obviously being up one, that helps. But, I mean, we're still staying focused. We still want to win that one because, we want to make it to state, of course, and we are. We're not doing it in 2. We're doing it in 1. So, and I stand on that. We're coming tomorrow.
Oh, we invite everybody else to come out and watch you guys play. I'm sure you'd love to have a big crowd. Joe, thanks for your time. I know you're a busy guy. You got folks to talk to. Appreciate the time, and congratulations on a great performance and a big win.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dylan, we'll get ready to wrap things up. Coach Free just gave me the one finger as in to just say just 1 minute. So he's going to be up here. I wasn't going to ask him to come up. I know that he's got school tomorrow. He's got kids to put to bed as well. But I'm sure he likes to enjoy these moments, if nothing else. But Dylan, your thoughts, just final thoughts on tonight's ball game. A great win, great step forward towards the ultimate goal, which is getting back to the state. But they're not done yet, but a great start.
Yeah, it's an amazing start to the 3-game series, up 1 game. They win 1 more, they go to state, and that's pretty big. Tonight's game was perfect. I think up 15. I think it was 11 runs in the first inning, and that you can't ask for more. So just a great job by the Wildcats.
I got a question for you while we're just killing time for just a quick second, and we're not going to hold up too long because James Branson's waiting on us. As a football player, what can you take from watching this team and how they play to your team as one of the leaders? What can you take back?
Just really the attitude, acting like it's 0-0 even when you're up, a tremendous amount of points. I think I can really take away from that.
Coach Free, we're talking to Dylan about what he can take away from your guys' program in a different sport and how you guys handle business. And his response was kind of reflecting on something Joe Webb and Warren East both said, which is, hey, we're up in the series right now. Joe even mentioned, hey, in that first inning, his approach, I got a 10-run lead, but I can't take the foot off the gas. And so that's something that your players, obviously, you've instilled in them. But, Coach, your thoughts on a big – it's just 1 game. You still got to win 1 more tomorrow, but certainly couldn't ask for a better game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that we would have put up 15 in a sub-state game? That's not what I had in my bingo cards today. But we'll take it, right? It makes everything a little easier. Makes the journey tomorrow, having more guys available, because we kind of knew that Joe's kind of been a guy that's going to give us 4 or 5 innings, and we're going to need to piggyback off of that late in the game. Well, luckily we put up a bunch of runs there, so now we have every arm available outside of Joe's. So now we just got to go find a way to win 1 or 2, and you got 2 of your best guys ready to go tomorrow to get it. So hopefully we show up with a little bit like today. We had an edge about us today. You're right. They kept saying like it's 0-0, whatever, but we just kept coming back. Anything that they did, we just kind of matched it, and we kept playing with a little bit of intensity. Even when they got runners on, we turn a double play, or we just make a big play or a big pitch. All those things, paid off for us tonight, and that's just kind of, that's the way a baseball season goes. We get beat up there at Dobyns Bennett 3-2 on a catcher interference call, and my wife, we step off the field, and as we're crossing over the line to go, she goes, "Don't worry, you're going to see him again in the sub-state." So she's exactly right. So it's kind of cool how the game just full circle comes back, and that loss there at that place gives my guys just a little bit of an edge to come back and play in a game that really means something, is really meaningful, and we got to play it back at home. So that's exciting for us and our team, and we just got to keep stepping on the gas, right? Now's the time of the year. We just got to keep playing the next one, the next game, and just play it at the best of our ability.
And I won't keep you. I'll just give you an opportunity like I did those guys that I talked to a moment ago. Obviously, you had a huge crowd here tonight. It was a great crowd. Tomorrow for that first game, hopefully you don't need the second game. That first game is going to be tough for a lot of folks to get off, but if they can get off, or the students, especially the seniors, it'd be awesome to see them pack the house. What would you say to those folks who maybe watched the stream tonight, but maybe they might be available tomorrow to come out?
Well, I mean, it's first time in program history. We're going back to back to back opportunities to go to the state tournament. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for our community. And one thing I've learned about Oak Ridge in my 8 seasons here as the head coach is just people loved to win, and they love to be a part of a winner. So why not? Why not tomorrow? Why not be out there? The weather's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a great afternoon. It's going to be a great chance to see great players play. And in the sub-state, to me, at home, it's the coolest environment. It's the coolest time to be a part of high school baseball. So, why not be here tomorrow? I mean, so all kids, all parents, everybody, take off work. I mean, everybody will let off. You work in Oak Ridge, you should be able to get off by 4 o'clock and be over here tomorrow,
You heard it, Coach. Congratulations on a Game 1 victory, an excellent ball game tonight at Bobby Hopkins.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everybody being here. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to my kids, and it means a lot to just this baseball community altogether. So we appreciate you all being here every time.
That's Coach Travis Free. Congratulations to him on a victory in Game 1 of this 3-game series. Again, Game 2, the game that if Oak Ridge wins it would send them back to state. You heard him for the 3rd straight year. That game will begin at 4:30. Gates open at 3:30. You're welcome to get here anytime between 3:30 and 4:30. Of course, we'll have the broadcast right here on Prep Radio. For Ben George, for our executive producer David Clary, for Dylan Woody, I'm Alex Myers. One more time, I'd like to say shout out and thank you to East Tennessee Spine and Sport for making tonight's broadcast possible. Until next time, good night and go Wildcats.